Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k Show. I'm your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Ryan Gerdes. We are your resident real estate wealth managers. And Justin Frederick is not in this week, so shame on him.
He's rodeoing it up, or
He's
whatever.
Whatever he does.
Last week he was talking about his favorite place to go to a rodeo, right?
Right, yeah, and he got all inspired.
Yeah,
And he threw on his boots, spurs, and saddle and latigo.
And his assless chaps.
Yeah, the only reason I know the term latigo is from Garth Brooks.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a leather strip. It's part of the saddle, but
Okay.
I believe so. I'm sure we're gonna have some cowboys listen to this podcast. Like I don't know what Labor Day is, and I'm gonna get torn up.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna want to text the word "build" to 623-AZ Recon. That's "build" to 623-AZ Recon. Ryan and I, we've been doing this together for 5+ years. We have been friends. And in real estate since 2003. I think I like you. Or not like you. I do like you, but I think I know you. That's what I meant to say. I didn't want to get all mushy. Okay? I love you, pal. I love you, pal.
I love you too, buddy.
Okay, that's not where I was going.
I was like, I didn't know what kind of podcast we're doing today.
All right. So there are pretty much, I have found, two things, two words that I can bring up that make Ryan's eyes completely light up. They both begin the word with B. One of them is bourbon. Like if we start talking about bourbon, you get all excited. And,
Start geeking out. Yeah.
And even though new build begins with N, I'm going to go with build for B. You love, I guess it's an N, but you love new builds and you love new construction. We are driving so many of our listeners over to new builds. And there's this thought process. If you kind of want to see and get an idea of where the Arizona real estate market is and the health of the Arizona real estate market, you really take a look at new builds and you take a look at new construction permits. And that's kind of, it's not an end-all be-all, but it tells a very good and a very persuasive story. And what we are seeing now, and I know this excites you, permits for new builds are up at staggering numbers. What does that tell you?
There's a number of different driving reasons why that's true. Number one, who does not love a brand new home? You're not having to worry about somebody else. There's warranties through the roof. You can do some customizing to it. If you've ever tuned into any one of our new build sections, then you'll know what advocates we are of new builds. So, and then on top of that, I'm kind of a construction junkie. I love jumping in and learning, all the different ROC regulations and protocols, et cetera. But the reason why I love this is because the good ones, which most of them are good these days, a lot of them got filtered out during the recession, but the good ones, they make it really easy to understand what it is that you're buying and what the numbers are long before you step foot in the door, and then they just make it easy to transact. And I think if you've tuned into one of our episodes a couple weeks ago on the resale side, there's so many agents out there that make it so difficult to transact. There's so many sellers that make it difficult to transact. Oh, I need to put away the dog. Oh, I need to clean up. Oh, I need to do this before I'm going to allow a buyer to come over and look at my house. These folks, these builders, are open for business 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, and they are hungry. And these numbers prove that. So I'm not at all surprised to see that. Number two.
And let's talk about let's be clear about the numbers specifically. But according to the Cromford report, building permits for single-family homes are rebounding this year in Maricopa and Pinal counties. Permits are up in Maricopa County by 39% and 43% in Pinal County.
Right. And then 38% in Arizona's 13 other counties. So it's happening over the entire state. So from the north to the south, east to the west. And what they're doing, and we've talked about it briefly in the past, but let's talk specifically what they're doing, because what they're doing is absolutely brilliant. They've been combating the interest rate dilemma but long before it ever even happened. So back when interest rates were at 2%, 3%, they bought tons of that money. And they cross-collateralized it with their business, with their lands, or with whatever that they had, would borrow against it, were making payments on it at 2%. Now what they're doing is they have their product. They want to sell you a home, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,200 square feet, whatever it is. And then they say, you use our lender, you use our money, we'll lend it to you at 5. You're like, well, that sounds amazing.
It is amazing.
Because right now, if I go out and I get a retail loan program, even through Justin, he's going to have to go through what prime is,
and
right?
It's probably, depending on credit and everything, between low to mid 6s.
So if your prime is at 6.25, and they say, oh no, we'll give you this brand new home at 5, then that's a no-brainer. Still, they're only paying 2% on it because that's what they bought it at. And so the builder's happy because now they're starting to make money on what was just kind of a sitting liability. They're making that 3% yield spread. And then you're happy because you're saving 1.25 1.5, whatever that is, on the interest rate of your home. On top of that, because they were able to buy a lot of materials back then as well. So they weren't just buying money, they were also buying materials. They don't have supply chain issues. So they get to build it cheaper now. Therefore, they can say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. John Q. home buyer, we can also pay for all of your closing costs as well as give you that 5% interest rate. So you're coming to the table with only your down payment, so virtually no additional money. And then you're getting the 5%, and then you're getting a new home. So it's kind of it's a hat trick. They're throwing a triple threat at you, and it's no wonder their numbers are doing that.
All right, so we got a lot more to talk about when it comes down to new builds. So I'm telling you, you want to hang out with us. But in the meantime, we want to encourage you to text the word BUILD to 623-AZ-RECON. That's BUILD to 623-AZ-RECON. And have a discussion with us about where are the prime new build sites in Maricopa County and even Pinal County for that matter. But back to what I was trying to get to, what does it mean to you as far as what do these numbers mean to you, if it does anything at all, as far as the strength of the market or where the real estate market overall, and let's just say Maricopa County because that's our area of expertise, where it might be going. Are you paying attention to the number of builder permits, and does that say something to you?
Mm-hmm. They're towing the line because they are helping keep values up. Because if we were relying just on everybody to do whatever they need to do in order to sell or buy real estate, then it could go belly up pretty quick. So I think that they are towing the line, and I think that they're the ones that are helping transactions and housing go through the higher interest rate part. And and it's funny because like we look at this, and you probably have heard us talk about different numbers and different closings. And so the past 30 days, 4,185 closings occurred in MLS. Now, a lot of them are new builds. But most new builds are not even listed. Most new builds, you walk in there and you say, you know what, I love the lavender floor plan. I want it on lot 172. And then they put it all together. Oh, I want those cabinets, that color, that flooring, that elevation, whatever. And those are never registered on the MLS. So there's 4,185. What the actual amount of homes that closed in Maricopa County is 5,270.
Yeah.
So that's almost 25% more, and most of those are going to be new builds. So they are doing even more than you think that they're doing, and they are definitely overtaking the market. Now, the only thing to watch out for is any type of repeats from 2007, 2008.
Well, and that's what I was gonna get to. And let's just call it what it was. I mean, 2007, 2008 was an anomaly. I mean, there were so many external factors that we'd never seen anything like it. So moving forward, what these numbers tell me is it's an indication of the new build companies confidence in where the market's going. Because, I mean, by the time that they pull a permit, apply for a permit and pull a permit and actually hand the keys to a buyer, 10 to 12 months, that be a safe number?
Fair, yeah.
So they are, when they're pulling permits, they're predicting on where they think that the market is going. And 39% uptick in permits in Maricopa County, to me, the builders are telling me that they feel very very bullish, very strong about where the market's going.
I agree with that. And
Was that a pretty smart thing I said?
no, but I mean, the idea is that like when you don't need to be that smart so long as you're listening to smart people, right? And they have some very, very smart economists and very, very smart people that they have in their stables giving them advice, and that's in their cabinet, and they're telling them, hey, look, we need to up our numbers in Phoenix, Maricopa County, Surprise, Buckeye, Queen Creek, Peoria, Goodyear, Maricopa, and Casa Grande. They've all been putting up staggering numbers. And they're not doing it because they feel good about it. They're doing it because the data suggests that there's massive opportunity there and that they're seeing a housing shortage. So, that it was smart, and I think that you're absolutely spot on with it, brother.
Sometimes I'm left shaking my head. We've all been there. When I have a conversation with one of our podcast listeners and someone texts into the show, text build to 623AZ Recon, and they start having conversations saying, hey, I'm working with another agent, or I have a relationship with another agent. I have another agent that helped me buy my last house or sold a house and so forth. And we talk about kind of where are they going and what are the strategies now. I always like to ask them, and I don't try to begrudge other agents and so forth, but I at this point in time, because new builds for our team, I would say it's a area of expertise. It's not a matter of we just got a real estate license and we're going to walk you into the new build site. Like, this is something that you and I have been doing since 02, 03. We know new builds like the back of our hands. We're very, very, very fluent in new builds. And I always like to ask them, well, the agent in your consults and your conversations, are they having you take a look at new builds? And oftentimes they'll say, no, my agent hasn't even mentioned new builds. And I get left shaking my head. I think if you are working with an agent that has not sat down and had a discussion of new builds, the incredible offerings that a lot of these builders are putting out there, and how you can, in some cases, negotiate the price with the builder, I think that agent's doing them a disservice. And I think the client's doing themselves a disservice for not exploring this. New builds has to be part of the strategy right now.
Well, okay. So I think we can all agree on how they're doing a good job, right? How does that play into your investment strategy? How does that play into your future generational wealth, right? Because for me, I look at resale and it's like, okay, I can do a lot with that, but the newer the property, the less maintenance, right? And then furthermore, there's a ton of different strategies. What are a couple of your strategies?
Oh, on new builds, first of all, a couple of my strategies. Number one is, they could be offering a great deal, but you also got to take into consideration of the area. And funny, on Friday's episode, we're going to take a look at areas in the valley and what are some of the best places as far as growth goes. In most cases, I like a minimum of 4 bedrooms. I think that our market here in Maricopa County, because of the late 90s and early 2000s, we were completely saturated with 3-bedroom homes. With COVID, people started to get to work from home. Having that 4th bedroom or a 3-bedroom in a den, I think is imperative. I think it makes it easier to rent. You're going to get significantly more in rent, and I think it's going to make it more marketable when it does come time to sell it. No carpet. I mean, if you're going into the builder and you've got that option, it's going to cost you some money. Get rid of all the carpet, put down some sort of laminate, some sort of tile, but also talk to your flooring guy and compare prices. If if you elect me governor,
Okay.
my first,
If I do?
Yeah.
Just me?
just you,
Okay.
if you, my friends out there, elect me governor, my first executive order is Formica is going to be completely illegal. Like I cannot believe that builders are still putting Formica in homes when the investment strategy is this has got to be something that I could rent out easily. I got to take into consideration what would be friendly to a single mom. Mark Arns taught me that many years ago. And what's durable? Carpet's not durable. At some point, I'm going to be replacing it. It takes one hot pan, and that Formica is toast.
It's done.
And never pay extra for the elevation. Go with the basic elevation.
Okay.
That's some of the things that I would instruct some of our buyers.
Yeah, and I would say going a couple of things that I do in addition to that is really understanding the CC&Rs of the HOA.
Okay, that's a good one. You got me there. That's a good one.
They can really handcuff what your future financial investment strategy is with the property. And then another one that I really like is particularly when we're in an inclining market, don't buy spec. Right now, buy spec. Spec means that it's already all the items have been chosen for you. You're probably going to close in the next couple of months. The home is it's already been pre-designed. If you can find a builder that is going to take 12 months to build and you have the time, then you can get in at today's price and then not close on it for 12 months, and then you've had built-in equity.
Yeah.
You're usually going to have $5,000 earnest money, $10,000 earnest money, and you put down that $10,000, and by the time you close on it, you could have made $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 on it.
Especially with the number of permits going up. That's what the builders are telling us.
Right. And so I see extreme value in doing things like that. And we're not quite there yet, but give it 6 months, 10 months. Go find those properties that or those builders that are willing to sell you something that they don't have permit on yet. It's going to take them 10 to 12 months. You're going to see a huge upside in equity.
All right, the other one I would say is, and sometimes it could cost you upwards of $10,000 to $12,000. But if you walk into a builder and you have the option to take one of the closets and convert it into an extra bathroom, to me, you're making money.
Always take function over aesthetics. You can fix the aesthetics later, and whatever you put into aesthetics now, in 10 years is going to be outdated.
All right, and then the last thing we'll say, and the reason why you do want to text the word build to 623-AZ-RECON, because you do want to work with people who know how this works. Most agents are going to walk you into a new build site, or you're going to walk into a new build site without representation. Don't do that. We don't have time to go into the dangers. And you're going to take a look at their price sheet and go, okay, boom. Or your agent's going to say, this is how much it is. Right now, we have a small window of opportunity. Ryan kind of walks in there and takes a look at the rate sheet and goes, oh, that's cute.
I like you guys.
But let's talk.
You're cute.
But we'd love to have that strategy session with you. Pick our brains. Take advantage of what builders are offering, but work with people that understand and know what builders are offering and understand the different timings of the month and the fiscal years and when builders are getting a little bit more desperate. Love to have that conversation with you. All you got to do is text the word build to 623-AZ-RECON. That's build to 623-AZ-RECON.